I'd only ever used the weapon in shooting competitions, but something had tugged at me as I was leaving home. Maybe it was the uncertainty of what awaited me in Judiculla, but at the last moment, I'd retrieved the pistol from my gun safe. I hoped I wouldn't need it. I cast my eyes past the rose garden and outward in every direction. Dense woods towered over the flowers' quiet souls like black knights, keeping their beauty at bay. These impromptu guards formed a circle around the garden, daring the roses to leave their makeshift prison. Nothing else stood out. There was no differentiation between one direction to another. When I looked back the way I'd come, I saw the path to my world was gone, washed away like sands on the water's edge. There was no turning back now. I walked the circumference of the clearing, searching for the path that must lead into Judiculla. On my second walk around, I noticed several trails, their beginnings no more than a couple of inches wide. It was as if sand had spilled out from an hourglass in the tiniest trickle. On first glance, I didn't see the paths. They were easily camouflaged by the debris of the forest floor. As I began noticing them, I saw that each was identical. There was no way of knowing if one was a better choice than the other. I decided taking any path would be more productive than just going around in circles. I committed to one and went deeper into the woods, turning back every few steps to put my eyes on the rose garden. It would have to serve as my marker, pointing me back home. Before long, the trees crowded me, pushing me off the path as if I had no right to be in their forest, no right to be in Judiculla. The last time I'd checked, I couldn't see the slightest hint of the rose garden. Its absence amplified my sense of isolation. My fingers curled around the two pendants hanging from around my neck. One, a silver heart given to me by my best friend, Victor Santana. Boyfriend, I corrected myself. When James left Woodvine, all evidence of his existence was obliterated because he'd used the fading. This was a sort of spell that Judiculla boys used to mask their time in our world. James's fading had caused some shifting in relationships to fill the gaping hole his absence left behind. In this shifted reality, I was dating Victor, my lifelong best friend. The silver heart was a gift he'd given me last Christmas. The other pendant was a gold initial, J, for Judiculla. This was my wedding token, the one James carried to my world when he came in search of his mate. It was something he couldn't bring himself to give me, choosing instead to leave it on Judiculla Rock when he left me behind. I gripped the J tighter, focusing on putting one foot in front of the other as I continued down the desolate trail. James had never intended for me to be in his world. He didn't know I was coming, and I didn't know what I'd find. I hadn't been walking for more than 5 minutes before I was attacked. A rough hand grabbed my hair, yanking me backward. I lost my balance, landing with a thud on the leaf-strewn ground. To my credit, I didn't stay down long. After I scrambled to my feet, I stared into my attacker's icy blue eyes. It's been a real head-scratcher, that's for sure, but I guess I know now. You really are that stupid, Ever said. The smirk on her face, combined with the adrenaline pumping through my veins, was too much for me to handle. I crouched low and plowed into her, which only served to prove her point. I'd never been in a fight before, but apparently she had. Ever rolled away effortlessly, knocking me on my back in the process. In seconds, she was on her feet, her boot making contact with my stomach, pinning me down like a turtle stuck on its shell. I glared at her, wishing I could slap that smug look off her face. Ever grinned, applying even more force with her boot. One day, Leath, you're going to appreciate how much I've worked to save your butt. She towered over me for a full minute before removing her foot and extending a hand to help me up. I brushed her hand aside and stood on my own. I'd known I'd run into her here. I'd even prepared myself to stumble upon Ever with James.